Alrighty, folks, it is time for the semifinals of Grand Prix Elseworlds, our Revolution Eternal tournament to kick off the end of the 2025 calendar year and send us into 2026. We're up against All Who Wander here on Sultai Flash, sort of a merging of some concepts we've seen put in a lot of work over the last year or so in standard rotation, merging with some pretty classically powerful mid-rangey and control tools out of the Eternal field, particularly in this Sultai color combination. So this is a mostly blue-green flash deck. They're on 14 creatures, 23 instants, and no sorcery speed plays. So both I and my opponent are going to be doing a lot of things on my turn. So we're not really going to be able to outpace them in that regard. They do have a lot of counter spells, specifically counter spells that are very well positioned against my deck. I think this is going to be a really rough matchup. I think there's no way to sugarcoat that. I think this is a very tough matchup for me. But whichever one of us wins this is going to have the honor of trying to dole out a real defeat to Laboratory Maniac combo in the finals. And regardless of how this match goes, you all will get to see my commentary on the finals match in due time, because I'm either going to be playing that match or recording it and spectating the two players in that match. But regardless of which way it plays out, we got to get to that match first. So let's talk about our opponent's deck. They're a Rabora Goliath Flash deck, 8 mana, 6/5 with Flash that costs 1 less for each permanent you control with Flash and each instant card in your graveyard. It also has Ward 2. They're backing that up with 3 copies of Agent of Deception, 2 mana, 1/1 with Flash that counters a creature or planeswalker unless its controller pays amount of mana equal to their devotion to blue. 3 copies of Frog of Eternal Gloom, a 3 mana 3/1 with Flash that bounces a creature you don't control to its owner's hand. And full playset of Faithline Marshal, a 3 mana 2/3 human cleric with Flash that makes a 1/1 soldier whenever you cast your first spell each turn, and a tapped everywhere token that is all basic land types with the second spell each turn. So all of their threats are at instant speed. Like nearly half of them are disruptive as well, and then they've just got Rabora Goliath and Faithline Marshal to just be a massive snap bomb or a bunch of spiraling value, respectively. And they're backed up by 23 instants. Let's talk about counterspells first. They've got a playset of Refract, which is a prismatic mana and a blue, so they can spend non-blue mana on that prismatic, either green or black in this case. To counter a spell unless its controller pays 2, they look at our hand and the top card of our library, so they get to really inform themselves on what Refract is going to be, what their answers are going to be best used for against what we have in hand. That is alongside another blue-green counterspell in Ensorcel, 2 mana counter target permanent spell. Unfortunately for us, every single card in our main is a permanent spell, and the one big non-permanent in our sideboard is Event Horizon, which I don't think is going to be worth boarding in this matchup. So Ensorcel is going to be countering any of our spells pretty reliably. There's also Rabora's Appetite as another big threat, 4 mana countering a spell, and much like Rabora Goliath's discount clause, this is going to make an XX, where X is the number of permanents with Flash and instants in their graveyard combined. The Appetite and Goliath package is the biggest bummer for the Flash synergies coming out of Solitaire, but the fact that the blue-green Flash synergies in Solitaire are coming into a format where into Eternal, where, you know, blue, green, black Flash is already in the semifinals of the tournament, it makes me think that the Solitaire Flash package is going to get to help influence this build in future iterations moving forward. So yeah, they've got 12 instants that counter a spell, plus the 3 Agents of Deception. There's going to be a lot of stack disruption. They've got 7 removal spells, between 3 copies of Crucify, 3 mana, -5/-5. They can pay a black and 4 life rather than paying the 3 mana. And then 3 copies of Ghost Warden's Claim, one of each of their colors, to exile a non-land permanent and then surveil 1. And then for a bit of card selection, they have Seafloor Treasures. 2 mana, look at the top 2 cards of their library, 1 into hand, 1 into graveyard, and then they can surface it for 2 and a blue later on when they have at least 7 total cards in their graveyard. Seafloor Treasure is really, really good in this matchup. Really subtle, strong card selection engine. I think, honestly, the best surface card out of Chiku Chaos Reigns, because putting the cards into your graveyard, not only is it an instant, so it's relevant for Rabora Goliath, relevant for Rabora's Appetite, but because it puts the cards into your graveyard, that means that if you see an instant or a card with a flash, or specifically an instant, they don't care about on the top of your library, you can just put that card into your graveyard, and then your Seafloor Treasures discounts your Rabora Goliath by 2, or buffs your Appetite token by 2 when you do eventually get around to making the Appetite token. Mana Base is a bunch of fixing lands on the slower side of things. 2 of each of the Duelist of Row check lands, so Flooded Morass, Fungal Mire, Lush Oasis. They've got Deep Life Cavern as additional fixing. Enters tapped unless they control a forest, which helps that they have both the basic forests, 2 of those, 2 swamps, and 3 islands, but also the Fungal Mires and Lush Oasis lands that can also make Deep Life Cavern untapped. They've also got 1 Nascent Light Vein to give them some more diversity across their mana, 3 copies of New Divide, and 2 Primal Fissure for basic fetches, and then 1 each a Methrin Waste and Onglade Haven of Ages, 2 more forest-typed duels. Each of these has a utility mode. A Methrin Waste becomes a Methrin Jungle instead if you play it as this untapped land. That lets them mill 3 cards, gain 2 life at instant speed for 3 mana and tapping. So can keep fueling Rabora's Appetite, fuel Rabora Goliath, get to Seafloor Treasures more reliably, get to the surface condition at least, and pad their life total. While Onglade effectively lets them explore without putting a counter on a creature. Look at the top card of their library. If it's a land, they can put it into their hand by revealing it. But that is also 3 mana plus tap, so 4 mana functionally to activate either of these 2 utility lands if they play it as a utility land. We'll get into their sideboard after game 1. I don't want to keep my opponent waiting any longer. So we're going to dive in here. I am higher seed, so I will get to play here on game 1. New Divide, Downtown Theater, Ignited Soul, Exorcist of Errors, Void Mist, Pressuring Ghoul. That looks like a solid 7 to me. In an ideal world, I'd like to flip into a turn 2 land besides the New Divide, so that way I can go Pressuring Ghoul, New Divide, crack New Divide, get 2 Ghoul triggers. Opponent is going to keep 7 as well. So we're going to lead on Downtown Theater into Ignited Soul. And pass. I'm probably going to be looking at looting one of these Void Mist Prodigies away with Ignited Soul here on turn 1. Lush Oasis tapped because they do not have a basic forest or island. You'll untap Downtown Theater, draw Milan. Interesting. I think I am game to... No, I think I still, would rather Exorcist overplay Milan. I think I'm probably going to loot Milan to Ignited Soul. So we will swing... we're going to loot Melon because Void Mist in hand is just 3 damage to the opponent. We find a Revolt of the Palace, so unfortunately no additional land drop here to give us the fetch with Pressuring Ghoul next turn. So I'm going to play New Divide, crack it, go get a Swamp. And we're just going to Exorcist. So opponent is thinking about piles. I think there's a very low likelihood that they show me a 2-mana counterspell. Man, Revolt of the Palace is going to be really awkward in this matchup, especially with our current position on board of just not having things going on. We do have to be really wary of Frog of Eternal Gloom. Okay, revealing Crucify. Those are piles. I think I'm okay with them paying 4 life to Crucify turn 2 if they just want to Crucify and get something back with Exorcist. And if they're holding 6 lands, sure. All right, it is Faithline Marshal, Ghost Warden's Claim, Rabora's Appetite, Swamp Forest, Onglade, Haven of Ages. Interesting. I think I'm going to deny them the Faithline Marshal. So they can swamp take 4 with Crucify in order to free up the Faithline Marshal the following turn. But I'm going to make them remove Exorcist in order to do so. Alternatively, I could take the counter spell and just guarantee that my spells will like resolve, but that's 4 mana. There's time, there's turns to go through still, so I'll take Faithline Marshal. And then we'll just remember that they've got a Crucify over there. Oh, yeah, they're going to reveal here, so I'm just going to hide everything that wasn't the Faithline Marshal from this first hand view. We can mark off the swamp. And they're just going to pass. No surprise here. We will untap and draw. That is a 3rd Void Mist Prodigy. I think there's no world where we play the Pressuring Ghoul here because I just don't particularly care about getting this in play when I don't have lands to play afterwards. So the counterpoint to that is if I hit land drops later, I am going to want this already in play. And if I'm going to want this in play before my land drops, then I might as well just run it out now. So we're going to go Pressuring Ghoul here. Opponent says okay. Notably, this does keep them off of a top-decked Ensorcel, does not keep them off of a top-decked Refract. So them not firing off the Refract here means they did not draw that. They could have drawn Ensorcel, but I doubt it. We're going to go to combat. We're going to swing in with everything. They are going to Crucify, take 4, kill the Exorcist, so they get the Faithline Marshal back. We can hide Crucify here, and now I'm glad that I kept Faithline Marshal revealed. Yeah. On damage, I am going to loot this Revolt of the Palace, I think. We find Yaeji. Not great. Missing land drops especially rough into a deck with playset of Quenches, and then 3 more creature spells that function as Quenches. So they play the Forest. They now have Ghost Warden's Claim up. They have Faithline Marshal up. Marshal does not block either of the things I have in play, which is nice. We untap. We draw Half-Heart's Claim. Not going to quite do it, but we can at least rummage with Ignited Soul, try and find something to do there. On damage. So Void Mist still represents a lot of damage. But if I pitch one... No, if I pitch one, like, I'm still very likely playing a Void Mist Prodigy here anyways. So, with that in mind... I think I pitch Yaeji. We find another Ignited Soul. Main 2. Well, we're just going to fire off a Void Mist, see if they want to counter this, if they can. Okay, they're not going to respond to the Enter trigger. I'm going to sacrifice Drain 3. And pass. They are going to flash out the Faithline Marshal here. So we know 3 of the 5 cards in their hand. If they go for untapped Onglade, Lost Waters, that means they're holding up an Onglade activation or Rabora's Appetite or Ghost Warden's Claim. Wow, they're going to go main phase 2 mana Seafloor Treasures? Seems like the most logical thing to spend 2 mana on here. Yeah, it's going to be Seafloor Treasure. So they'll make a 1/1 blocker here with Faithline Marshal. This means they will not have Ghost Warden's Claim or Rabora's Appetite up. They bin the Emethrin Waste, so that is their other utility land. They do get an island here. Debating if they want to get in with Faithline Marshal. So now they could have Refract, or they could have Ensorcel up. We untap, we draw another Yaeji. We're just going to get in for 1 in the air. Really rough that we're missing these land drops. Yep, they do have a counter spell. So they're going to get to look at my hand and the top card of my library. And reveal library, not reveal top card to just my opponent. Yeah, and this is going to be my opponent just getting to run away with it from here. I do have them in a very tricky spot. This is not a deck with anything in the way of life gain besides the Emethrin jungle, and of course that it is in the graveyard. So they have to be really cautious with their life total, but they also can see I've got 2 instances of damage over the top. They are playing on lake here. Debating if they want to get in is interesting here, because their life total is precious at this point. They are going to swing in with Faithline Marshal. I'll just take it. Alrighty. We untap. We draw a card they knew about. That is a second Pressuring Ghoul. I see no reason to free up the Rabora's Appetite here. If they want to do something, I'm going to make them Ghost Warden's Claim in combat. But yeah, they do know that we don't have a land to soup up the Pressuring Ghoul. They're going to take it. In that case, if I were to go for Pressuring Ghoul, there's no reason to go for Pressuring Ghoul at this point. If I were to go to Pressuring Ghoul, that would demand the Rabora's Appetite in response. They have 3 instants in graveyard plus 1 flash, so they would make a 4/4 counter my spell. I mean, that's pretty good. That is definitely good. But it is not quite... They also make a 1/1. And they free themselves up to just Ghost Warden's Claim my other flyer from there. So this is really, really sketchy. I almost want to just run out the Ignited Soul instead of the Pressuring Ghoul, because the double menacing attackers helps me guarantee one of them gets through more likely. But they just Rabora's Appetite whatever I play here anyways. So the question is, do I care? I mean, if they just Ghost Warden's Claim at end step, then they've burnt the Ghost Warden's Claim, and I'm still in an awkward spot. I think I'm best off just going for... I'm just going to go for the Ignited Soul. Opponent says okay. So they are going to undoubtedly fire off Ghost Warden Claim here. Oh, they're going to Crucify here. All right. So that's the second Crucify. This is really hairy. So we know 2 of the 4 cards in their hand. They're paying 2 here. So that tells me it's another Seafloor Treasures in hand. Oh. I think they only start making that choice if they've got Seafloor Treasures in hand. They're going to swing in for 3. I'm just going to take 3. So this allows them to double block one of my Ignited Souls, Ghost Warden's Claim the other. They're going to play tapped New Divide here. We will untap and draw. That is a Downtown Theater. So them not knowing about the land is really good. So if they do go for the Ghost Warden's Claim Ignited Soul, double block the other Ignited Soul, we are in a tricky spot because if we run out Half Heart's Claim, we have no way of popping anything or of swinging with anything, but it does also mean that they always have to be aware of Pressuring Ghoul because Pressuring Ghoul represents the last points of damage. I mean, let's see if they pull the trigger. Because if not, we do get to also rummage a little bit further. They're going to double block. All right. I'll kill one of the soldiers. I will discard Yaeji Resplendent Idol. Draw an Unburnt Maiden. I think I need to play the Unburnt Maiden here because they know they want to save counterspells for Half Heart's Claim Voidmist Prodigy. Unburnt Maiden presents a completely different type of problem where they might burn the Ghost Warden's Claim, but I do still come out of it with a 1/1 token. I'll play the Downtown Theater. I will play the Unburnt Maiden. Maiden actually getting to do something in this matchup is nice. That being said, it is still going to get boarded out, unfortunately. I have not fully formed my plan, but I think it's going to be the usual board out the Unburnt Maidens, board out 3 other cards, board in my 3 mana flash creatures. I will make the Warrior token. And I'll pass. So they are going to go for Ghost Warden's Claim here. Exile the Unburnt Maiden. They get to surveil 1, make a 1/1 soldier. But the upside here is that now we do have 2 things in play for Half Heart's Claim. So if we could slip a Half Heart's Claim into play, we're golden. That being said, they've got 6 mana up. They've got Rabora's Appetite in hand. They've got presumably another Seafloor Treasures in hand. Choosing to draw and then crack New Divide. So if they have another untapped land, they could go for... Or sorry, if they drew an untapped land, they could go for Seafloor Treasures plus Rabora's Appetite on my turn. But they're going to go for Seafloor Treasures from hand. Yeah, us not having anything that just completely is uncounterable is awkward in the face of face-up counterspell. They are going to bin a Frog of Eternal Gloom. That's interesting. I feel like you could just pick that up so you can hold up Rabora's Appetite for one of my spells, and if I don't go for anything, you Frog of Eternal Gloom bounce the Warrior token. And then it just permanently kills one of my things. They swing 4. So we are like, this is a real clock. We are under a serious amount of pressure. We untap, we draw. We find a Desolate Path. They knew about the Ignited Soul. They knew about the Yaeji. So they know Voidmist Prodigy, Half Heart's Claim, Pressuring Ghoul. This is the only unknown, unfortunately for us. Thinking. So at this point, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, Rebor's appetite would make a 7/7. We'd be dead on board. Um, dang. I think this has slipped away from us because we are incentivized to swing in with everything. To get them to 4, but anything we play just gets countered by Rebor's appetite. They get to kill the other ignited soul here. And then yeah, again, if we play anything, they just Rebor's appetite, counter it, and then we need to stay on defensive here. So the counterpoint here is if we just go for Half Heart's Claim, we do force out the Rebor's appetite, leave them with 2 unknowns in hand. They make a 7/7. They make another 1/1. But then we have Desolate Path tapped. We have Void Mist Prodigy, Pressuring Ghoul. We just hold up the blockers. And then if we peel another Prodigy or if we peel a Thorn and Trial, if we peel either the last Prodigy or one of the 3 Thorn and Trials, that does give us lethal next turn, presuming they have no counter magic, which is a bold estimation, to be sure. And I will say, if they fire off a counterspell besides Rebor's Appetite here, I will just concede. So we're going to play Desolate Path tapped. I maybe should have held that for after this, but I'm going to go for Half Heart's Claim. Yep, they're going to Rebor's Appetite. Make another soldier, make a 7/7. Yep, seems like they concur with my estimation here. Well, not attacking into that. I'm just gonna hide this. They know it's in our hand fully. Now that we've played the land, I think we're out of this. I think they've got game 1. We'll see if they make a mistake, but oh, they almost rush right into combat, but they're thinking about it. Okay, they are gonna rush in. They're just gonna swing all out. If they had Frog of Eternal Gloom plus another removal spell, they would have lethal here. So that's an interesting occurrence as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to block the fish and just take 7. No other blocks, asking if they're good to do damage. They say okay. So warrior token dies. I take 7. They know what's in my hand, so I have to assume that they have the counter magic up. They're going for Seafloor Treasures here, make another 1/1. Yeah, so even without we are actually like fully in on the Void Mist Prodigy plan, because if we even just go for like Void Mist Prodigy, if we just go for like the Pressuring Ghoul swing, they can just Seafloor Treasures, make another blocker, double block Ignited Soul, and then we do not have 4 damage over the top. So if I hadn't cast that spell, if I just swung in for 3, I would have lost Ignited Soul, but I would have gotten in taken them to 1, then Pressuring Ghoul, Void Mist Prodigy would have done it if they don't have counter magic here. So maybe I shouldn't have cast the Half-Hearth's Claim. We will draw another land. This is hard. I'm trying to navigate in my mind how I get out of this. I think it's for them to just not care about Ignited Soul. I think it's for them to not care about going to 4. Because at this point, the thing that I care about is not that this deals 1, takes them to 4. It's that this lets me turn this Pressuring Ghoul into potentially a Thorn and Trial. But if they just flashback Seafloor Treasures, we're dead. The downside here is they see we have Pressuring Ghoul, Void Mist Prodigy, and are left wondering what we could have drawn to justify this attack without playing the Pressuring Ghoul first. Okay, no, I was gonna say, like, there is an upside because I can Pressuring Ghoul, just jump block the fish token, and then Void Mist Prodigy go to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then presumably 9 if they just cast a spell here. So, yeah, them flashing back Seafloor Treasures wins them this game. Sorry, them surfacing Seafloor Treasures wins them this game. But the question is, do they think that that's how they win? Or do they think they need to wait? Because if their game plan is based on just removing a thing instead, if their way out of this is a removal spell for Void Mist Prodigy, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get there because I think my opponent is smart enough to put together my reasons for needing to make this attack without the Pressuring Ghoul in play. They are gonna go ahead, pay 3. Looks like they are gonna Seafloor Treasures. So if this Plains was in fact a Thorn and Trial, I'd have them here with the Mind Games. But and that is the nice thing about this Ignited Soul attack, is that if I do have the Thorn and Trial in hand, I get to bait them into going for something. They do pull the trigger on Faithline Marshal. Yeah. Alrighty. Glauna's a maybe here. We're definitely going down the Unburnt Maidens. Actually, awful consideration here. I might just go down the Yaejis instead of Unburnt Maidens. I love Yaeji, but Yaeji has felt really awkward in so many of these matches. I think in spite of me trying to build this deck to better leverage Yaeji, I'm still not quite a good Yaeji deck in that regard. We want the flash threats. Okay, so they didn't have counterspells. Interesting. Alrighty. So yeah, I want the Justiciars. I want the Looming Psyhawks. Psyhawks look really good here with so many of their key threats being tokens. I actually kind of like Absentia. So many of their key interactive tools are 2 mana. Doesn't hit their Arbora Goliaths, doesn't hit almost any of their creatures, but this does let me hit key cards from their hand. Specifically, lets me trade 1 mana for a counter spell. I guess if we're going up, no. We're going down the Revolt of the Palace. We're just never gonna have time for that. I think I am gonna look at taking out Glauna. So maybe we go down. Maybe we go up like 2 Absentias, 2 Event Horizons. Because like Event Horizon, we're gonna go 1 Absentia, 3 Event Horizons. Because like the thing I was finding there is Event Horizon does kind of have purchase. Do we even want Absentia? This is tough. I'm gonna do 2 Yaejis still maybe, and then like 2 Event Horizons. Very tricky. We're gonna rock it like that. I definitely want the flash 3 drops because it gives me a way to play on their turn and sort of turn the pressure back around. Gives me the opportunity to pass the turn without doing anything more comfortably. So Downtown Theater, Primal Fisher, Ignited Soul, Half Art's Claim, Void Mist Prodigy, Exorcist. I mean, yeah. Ignited Soul Exorcist does do work. Awkward that this is another 2-lander that could just fail us, but we've got to work with what we've got. They're going to mulligan to 6, so that's promising. They are going to keep 6 here. Let's see how this goes. Theater into Ignited Soul. We will pass. This is really solidified for me that Ignited Soul is just such a strong card. I love this thing. So it's an innocuous 1-drop, but it really does just put in a ton of work. We will draw Melan. Once again, we have to wait if that matters. I mean, if we pledge... You know, if we play Melan and pledge Silliman, this does let us attack through anything in their deck based on what colors they have on board. I think I was already leaning towards pitching the Void Mist Prodigy here. We're gonna make the attack first, one way or another. Oh, yeah, we're gonna pitch the Void Mist Prodigy. Find another Primal Fisher. We will Primal Fisher, crack, go get a Swamp. And then, same way we started game 1, Exorcist ya. Don't love pitching the Void Mist Prodigy comparatively, but okay, so they reveal a Refract, they reveal a Ghost Warden's Claim. Show me the hand. Don't think I care about these. Okay, so it is Refract, Refract, Claim, Appetite. I mean, yeah, I'll just take another. I'll just take another Refract. Actually, do I take a Refract? Do I take the Appetite? Because right now they have no pressure besides that. So they've got Ghost Warden's Claim, but that doesn't really matter. So Claim can open up Exorcist, but if they do that, then they put shields down so I can put a flash threat into play. And they've got to play Primal Fissure here to hold up the counter spell, meaning if they go for that, the Ghost Warden's Claim isn't really accessible. At least not for 2 turns. They're going to go Primal Fissure. We will draw. We find Ignited Soul. Main 1. I don't think I discard 2 Ignited Soul right now. Okay. Oh, I didn't even talk about their sideboard. I am thinking about what to do because I might Melon, I might Ignited Soul here with just Primal Fissure in play, so that way I can pay for the counter spell. But so sideboard, they've got 3 Crucible of the Burning Sun, which might have come in, but I'm not 100%. Hugo's Handiwork seems really good against us. They can just put this into play, pay 3, blow up a bunch of our important things. Nightmare Feaster doesn't really do a lot against us. It's more for Bell Hacker. Beauclair Scorn, not really good against us. Dulcairn Charn could be doing some work against us. So I think like Dulcairn Charn, maybe Hugo's Handiwork, maybe Crucible. Those are the like sideboard things. Dulcairn Charm specifically, it removes anything but our 3 drops, lets them drain us back in a pinch, and lets them rebuy a creature or a land if needed. All relevant modes in this context. So I don't think, with all of that said, that I want to rush out Melon or Ignited Soul first main at least. So we are going to... I'm going to play the Primal Fissure before I do anything. And I am going to swing in here. Oh, damage. No discard. Get them paranoid about what's in my hand. And we will pass. They know about the flash cards in our hand. Or sorry, they know about the flash cards in our sideboard. They are going to crucify the Exorcist of Errors. Let's go get Plains here, I think. I'm just going to do this while they cannot counterspell me. So you get your Ouroboros Appetite back. But I've got my flash threat in play through interaction. So again, they could be holding up Refract here. They have to be holding up Refract here. So we know Ghost Warden's Claim, Ouroboros Appetite, Refract. One unknown. We will draw a Stark Expanse. So the reason to choose black instead of green is that their removal is all black between Crucify and Ghost Warden's Claim. And then it would still let me give Hexproof from blue for Frog of Eternal Gloom. But it would also mean I can't choose green to let our creatures slip through Faithline Marshals. I think that's fine. That being said, the tapping is better than the Surveil 2 on the actual Clique permanent. Actually, wait. No, Ignited Soul, Half Heart's Claim, those both give us black permanents for Melon anyways. here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move to start of combat. I'm going to swing in for 4. No discard. Melon Defense Attorney. See if they just pull the trigger here. They are thinking. Okay, they are going to just pull the trigger on Refract here. Just to get information. Would be awkward if we were holding up a 2-drop we cared about more, but we're not. So I am going to get to resolve Melon here, but they are going to still look at our hand. And it's the top card of our library. So reveal top card to Phoenix Star. It is not conditional on us not paying the 2. They just get to get that information one way or another. So they know the cards in our hand. They know top card of our deck. We will Melon. We will take Silliman Laboratories. Do we actually take Penwrath? I probably should have thought about that a little bit more. No, I think I'm fine with Silliman Labs, because it gives pro blue for Frog of Eternal Gloom. We're going to shock in Stark Expanse, and then run out an Ignited Soul, and then they know we are holding a Half-Heart's Claim. We will pass. So if we go for the Half-Heart's Claim into Rabora's Appetite, they make a 2/2 off of Appetite, and we get to shock them. If they hold up a removal spell, they're dead. Specifically, if they're holding up a removal spell for Half-Heart's Claim instead. Oh, they're Ghost Warden's claiming here. Okay, they're dead. Because they know we've got the Void Mist Prodigy in graveyard. They know we're holding Half-Heart's Claim. A Crucify doesn't do it. We've got the creatures in play to deal 3 here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we got there. All right. Do I change anything about the sideboarding in when on the draw? I think on the draw, I'm less inclined to keep Yaeji. On the draw, I'm more inclined to want Absentia. Melon didn't get to do a ton there, but was just a 1-mana 1/1, so was able to be cast for 3 mana in the face of a counterspell. So that was nice, at least. That's a good reason to care about Melon in this matchup. How do I feel about the 3rd Absentia? What would I cut for the 3rd Absentia? Maybe an Unburnt Maiden? That does bring us down to 8 3-drop creatures plus the Half-Heart's Claims. I think it's just such a snowbally 3-drop if it sticks. I think I gotta go down to the 2 Maidens. Opponent is presumably going to be on the play here. Stark Expanse, Downtown Theater. We are really hitting the turn 1 Ignited Soul draws. I mean, this Ignited Soul into Ignited Soul Melon, which is pretty nice. It's not very disruptive, but it does do the aggro play of just getting stuff into the board on turn 1. We will draw. Looming Psyhawk is a nice pickup here. Downtown Theater. Ignited Soul. So they are going to crack Primal Fissure after drawing. They play Deep Life Cavern after a Forest. They have Ensorcels up. They have Refract up. We untap. We draw. Just Disir. I think I am going to pitch Pressuring Ghoul. No, I pitch the Half-Heart's Claim, maybe. Just because if I'm going to be pitching something, I'd rather pitch something I know I can't cast. Swing in for 2. On damage. Psyhawk, Justiciar. I think it is going to be the Half-Heart's Claim. That feels really rough, but I'd rather hold things I know can do stuff. Unburnt Maiden. Well, I guess I know what I'm discarding next turn. We go for Milan. They say okay. We will once again pledge Silliman Laboratories. Take 2, go for Ignited Soul. Opponent says, mm-hmm. So that's interesting. They did not pull the trigger on any of that. So no Refract, because I feel like you'd want to Refract this and at least get some knowledge on what's going on in my hand. They're going to Dull Care and Charm one of my Ignited Souls. So that gets exiled. I will say, I know I boarded out the Glaunas. Glauna is really rough in this matchup just because it's really hard to resolve her and it's really hard to find something to meaningfully -2 on. But that being said, it is just spiraling value. So we're going to go to combat. We are going to swing in with the Ignited Soul. Damage. We will pitch Unburnt Maiden to draw a card. Desolate Path is a really rough find here. I'm going to go for the Pressuring Ghoul rather than the Absentia. Because I'd rather Absentia when I have other things going on. So I can kind of clear the air a little bit. We're going to play Desolate Path here. Landfall trigger on the Pressuring Ghoul. They're going to give us the counter. Okay, so they do have the Faithline Marshal. That's actually great for us, because if they go for something at instant speed on our turn to try and trigger Faithline Marshal, we can Looming Psyhawk in response, so they don't get the token. We will untap, we will draw. Would have loved to find an untapped land there. I think I'm still fine just going in for the attack. They could Faithline Marshal here. Or they could cast a spell into Faithline Marshal, but I could just use Melon to protect the Ignited Soul. Okay, so they're just going to take 3. Trigger. I'm going to loot this other Unburnt Maiden for an untapped land. We play Swamp, Pressuring Ghoul trigger. Counter is fine, they say. Question is, do we force the issue with Absentia, or do we just let them try and cast something into Faithline Marshal here? If they are holding and trying to play Rebor's Appetite, it only makes them a 2/2, so that's not great. Let's go for Absentia. And the nice thing about this is their best thing to just do with their mana here would be either Dull Care and Charm or Seafloor Treasures, either of which takes them off of counterspells. So we see Ghost Warden's Claim, Rebor's Appetite. So yeah, we'll just take Dull Care and Charm from Graveyard. So double Ghost Warden's Claim and Rabora's Appetite. Little awkward in the face of Melan able to protect something. So they kind of just need to Ghost Warden's Claim the Melan first. Target? Okay. Yeah. If they just want to Ghost Warden's Claim the Looming Psyhawk here, they wouldn't get the token the following turn either. So yeah, I think it is just good for me to go for Psyhawk now. So Melan exiled. Ghost Warden's Claim resolves. They don't make the token. But they do get to Surveil. But yeah, this is very good for us just because Ghost Warden's Claim being the play that it is, because it is their first spell, Faithline Marshal would resolve before Looming Psyhawk is gone. So whatever spell they use to clear Looming Psyhawk does not give them a blocker for Faithline Marshal. They're going to pass. We untap. We draw Primal Fisher. I think we just play it at this point. We know 2 of their 3 cards. They say counter is fine. They are thinking before blocks. 1, 2. They have another Dulcairn Charm. They're going to Dulcairn Charm the Pressuring Ghoul. Faithline Marshal trigger will fizzle. Don't have a way to protect this, but I'm debating if I just pull the trigger on Justice here. We know the cards that are in their hand. We know they have no way to play anything here. Yeah. So that is gone. We get in for 3. No discard. Main phase 2. We're just going to play the Justice here. Oh, and I have gains 2 as well. The reason I run out Justiciar here is because they are incentivized to clear this before the Looming Psyhawk because it represents more damage, but doing so means that they are out of removal spells for the Psyhawk, and they need Psyhawk gone before Appetite or Marshal can start spiraling the game out of control in their favor. And even barring any good draws here, I can just start using Silliman Laboratories to tap down Faithline Marshal. They're just going to go to combat. I'll just take 2. So they're going to pass. We untap. Upkeep, I'm going to crack Primal Fisher. This is bad if I draw specifically Ghoul, but I don't think I care because they've got Rabora's Appetite up for a Ghoul that I draw anyways. So I will draw Primal Fisher, go to combat, swing with the squad. They're going to pay 3 and Ghost Warden's claim something here. They are going to hit the Justiciar. So they get Surveil 1. We know it is Appetite and the top card of their library. Just realized that we also know for a fact they kept a Dulcairn Charm off of the last Ghost Warden's claim, choosing to keep card on top again. So they take 3. I gain 2. I'm going to pitch Primal Fisher to draw a card. We find Melan. Main 2. Let's go ahead and play Milan. Silman Labs trigger. It has to be an untapped creature, but we're just going to do that, put a counter on it. And pass. And Milan presents a whole other problem. So we've got 5 power on board. We're really only swinging in with 3. They deliberately kept the top card of their library. They've got a Methrin jungle to stave off the imminent kill. So we're not out of the woods yet, but we have kind of burned them down to next to nothing. Herbora's Appetite is the only card in hand, and currently it is just 4 mana counter a spell. They really need Looming Psyhawk gone, but they've burned 2 Ghost Warden's claims, clearing things that aren't Psyhawk. So they've got 2 more Ghost Warden's claims. They've got 3 Crucifies. That's it for things that can clear it. Frog of Eternal Gloom can bounce the Psyhawk right now, but it doesn't really accomplish much because I have the mana to just replay the Psyhawk. Okay, we take 2. They're tapping Morris. They're tapping 1, 2, 3. Hugo's Handiwork. Yikes. So they just get to hold up Handiwork for either 1 or 3. 3 is really bad because they lose their Faithline Marshal, but Handiwork X is 1 clears both of my other creatures. Untap, draw, Pressuring Ghoul. I mean, I think I just run out the Pressuring Ghoul and swing in with everything, right? Like, there's really no consequences to doing so because they just want to Handiwork kill my 1-drops. It at least forces them to consider alternatives. There is value in them clearing a 2-drop or 3-drop instead, specifically clearing a 3-drop. But yeah, we're going to Pressuring Ghoul here. We know they've got Appetite. We know they don't have mana for Appetite. Go to combat. Swing in with the squad. They're going to crack. Them cracking here tells me they're probably just pulling the trigger on Handiwork X's3. They are going to do Handiwork X's3. So would they lose the Faithline Marshal here? Yeah. So we connect for 4. Oh, did they not realize that it was going to clear their Faithline Marshal? Is it 3 or less? Oh, it is or less. Oh my god. Yeah, no, that is the full board. Whoops. Youch. Ouch. Yeah, that stings. Well, yeah, Cleek is gone as well. Here I am, having not played against Hugo's Handiwork in years, thinking, oh, you know, it's hold on. What's the damn, I think it's Pernicious Deed. Oh, that's also or less. What am I thinking? But yeah, no, we are just in a whole heaping amount of trouble now. Dormant Temple. We will just play. We will pass. They're going to pay 4 to a Methrin Jungle. They mill Ensorcel, Crucify, Ghost Warden's Claim. They gain 2. So that is 2 more removal spells gone. That's 3 claims. The first Crucify and 2 of the 3 Dual Care and Charms have been seen. Now we're going to crack the Dormant Temple. Oof. Yeah. Aye, aye. Yeah. Well, this is an unfortunate way to end the series after so many games of specifically getting mana screwed. Yeah. We untap, we draw. Absentia. I mean, we fire off Absentia. They just hit us with the Rabora's Appetite. I'll just give them a window. I'll give them a window to put me out of my misery. There is next to no way out of this. They're paying 1 and 2. Agent of Deception. Okay, so they reveal the last Ghost Warden's Claim in Rabora's Appetite. I think I'm going to go on a whim and say GG's. They have the 4th Ghost Warden's Claim, so nothing I can get would ever sneak through. Agent's just going to lock me down. Just going to kill me over 18 turns. Well, silver lining here is I didn't end up having to play against the Labman decks in round 3 or 4 despite being paired into them, and now I don't have to worry about getting to play against them. I am safe from not having to play against it in the finals. We'll see how it fares for All Who Wander in the finals. Good luck to All Who Wander. Good luck to Nyx in that finals match. You will, of course, get to see my perspective and commentary as an outsider looking in on that particular matchup. And it is a Worlds qualifier fight between All Who Wander and Nyx. So we'll see which one of them gets a seat at Worlds next April. With all of that said, I hope you all have enjoyed and look forward to the final thoughts wrap up.